First of all, men come into the range with their wives or girlfriend, whatever, dates. They really want them to like this. And here I was terrified,
Right.
And my husband brings, what does he bring? His favorite guns. What, because he wants me to have fun, right?
Yeah.
He brings his favorite guns. What do you think a 6'4" Marine favorite guns are? Probably not.
like a grenade launcher or
Right.
a tank.
fire launcher. What do you think it's going to be that his favorite guns are compared to a 5'2", 125-pound woman? Probably not the same thing, Same thing.
Hello, my name is Amara Barnes, and this is the Wagoa Podcast. Today's interview is one that I think you may be able to relate to on a deeper level. This is with one of our newest members, TerryAnn Bowen, out of New Hampshire. She talks about what it feels like to be a brand new female shooter who is just so terrified of the firearm, she didn't even want to pick one up. And her journey from that point to not only enjoying the sport of shooting, but to owning her own gun store and gun range. We talk about cultural issues, societal expectations, men's expectations of a woman behind the gun store counter, and so much more. And she has a very special message for all of the armed as well as the unarmed women watching. Enjoy. All right, it's TerryAnn.
Hi.
Hello. You must be at your range.
Yes, Manchester Fire Line in New Hampshire.
New
so
Hampshire.
Excited to talk to you. Thank you.
Yes, I'm excited too. Yeah, when we talked last week, turns out we have a lot of things in common and a common mission, and this is meant to be.
Absolutely. It's awesome. Across the country, it's just awesome to find more like-minded women trying to do the same thing for other women. I just think it's awesome what you're doing.
Yeah, same to you. Same to you. So let's start with the basics a little bit. You are a range owner, which is really impressive as a woman, and I know you're doing that with your husband, and that's such a great endeavor, and we need so many more of that. Give me a little bit of your background, like where you were raised and how you came into this family and all that.
That's the irony in it, is that where I grew up, the only experience that I had with firearms growing up until I met my husband was literally what I saw on TV, or what I saw. There were some police officers in the area. I grew up in a really difficult area, and sometimes there were literal drug activity in some of the houses near where I lived. I grew up in a really rough part of the area. So to me, the only time you needed a gun, truly, no one said these words to me, but somehow I grew up thinking the only time you needed a gun was if you were a police officer or the people the police officer was chasing. Mm-hmm. And the only time I ever really seen a gun was on TV. So to me, they were very serious. They were only used for serious things. That's what they were. They were scary. And the weird thing is nobody really said those words to me. My parents didn't say anti-gun. They didn't say you can't have one or anything like that. But somehow in my upbringing, it was kind of ingrained in me. And then I met my husband, who was a Marine, who grew up on a farm, to him, he was 5 years old and he was able to take the pistol out of the drawer and shoot the varmints in the yard.
At 5 years old.
At 5 years old, there was a junk drawer next to the fridge. Do you have a junk drawer next to the fridge? I have one. It does not have a gun in it. It does not have a pistol in it. I'll just tell you right now. But they grew up on a farm, and they had a lot of rabbits, and they had a little 22. It was a little 22 revolver, and he was able to go in there and take that. And he learned at such a young age how to respect that firearm and understand that it was a tool. So we grew up, not just across the country. He grew up in Washington, just like you. And I grew up in Lowell, Massachusetts, and across the country and different worlds. And then I met him, and he said to me, I have 30 guns, and when we move in together, I'm going to bring this collection with me. And I said, hell no. There's no way you're bringing guns into my house. And now we own a gun range. So you can see who won that argument.
Right. Right.
But
Yeah.
what we immediately realized was both of us needed education about this. He did not understand why I was so afraid. He couldn't grasp it. To him, it was like a pen. It was literally like a pen. You're afraid of this pen that's sitting in front of you to him because it was just a tool. A hammer can build a hospital or it
Right.
could hurt somebody, and to him, he just couldn't wrap his mind around why I was so afraid. And when he would try to take me to shoot, he couldn't understand the sensory overload, the sounds and the fear. When you learn to drive, you are taught to watch everybody on the road. You're taught to, you're not just watching what you're doing. You have to watch everybody else. And we went into a gun range, which was an indoor gun range, by the way. So I was in my bay. I really did only need to worry about myself. But I had that mentality that guns were bad. It was going to hurt me. And I had to worry about everybody else. And I had to worry about this gun. And he could not understand that.
Right.
And it was a recipe for disaster. I mean, but the first time that we went shooting, it was awful. So
What happened?
it was awful. Oh my gosh. It's so funny because we talk about it now. We use it in our classes to teach people what not to do. as a couple. It's so funny. That's the beautiful thing about being a gun range owner and being a female. I now have 8 years of experience of watching people do all females coming in with well-meaning family members, right? Steering them down the wrong road. And it started with us. So it's so funny because we use us as an example when we tell people what not to do. First of all, men come into the range with their wives or girlfriend, whatever, dates. They really want them to like this. And here I was terrified,
Right.
And my husband what does he bring? His favorite guns. Because he wants me to have fun, right? So
Yeah.
he brings his favorite guns. What do you think a 6'4" Marine favorite guns are? Probably not.
like a grenade launcher or a
right.
tank.
fire launcher. What do you think it's going to be that his favorite guns are compared to a 5'2", 125-pound woman? Probably not the same thing, And
Probably
he is so excited that I'm finally gonna shoot. So of course he brings out all his bad boys. He's got all his favorite guns. And he wants to give me a taste of everything. And when we get here, they say, coincidentally, it was this range. We bought the range I first shot at. Isn't that funny? So years later, but they said, do you want to rent? Guys, if any men are listening to this at all, let her rent something, let her rent. My husband's mindset was, well, we got tons of guns. Like, I look at all these guns and all this ammo I brought.
Why would I do that?
Right. Well, because her little hands can't hold that giant rifle. Anyway.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to rent anything. We're all set. We got, the giant, I can't remember what it was at this point, but all his favorite giant guns. And when we went out onto the gun range, another thing is that sensory overload that you don't expect to have. There is so much happening. The sounds are everywhere, right? And when I walked out there, I really didn't know where, because I had never been to a gun range and I had never shot. So I didn't know where I was supposed to look and what I was supposed to do. And to me, I grew up in a city where there was police officers, and the sound of sirens and the police officer was something that happened where I grew up all the time. I heard that sound all the time. So when they said the range officer, I thought I was going to be in trouble. I went out there afraid to touch the gun. I was like, what if I do something wrong? The range officer is going to arrest me. I did. I really did. I was afraid. I was like, I don't want to embarrass my husband. He's so excited that I'm finally doing this. And he knows what he's doing. I was so intimidated by him by the fact that everybody seems to know what they're doing. There were men everywhere. It was a sea of testosterone. And there was a range officer. And what if I do something wrong, you know? And I got to tell you, I literally thought the gun was going to get up by itself and turn around and shoot me. It's so funny now, like we're laughing because we know better, right? But when you have never done it, right?
Right. I can relate so much to what you're saying. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and it's funny now. And so what's beautiful is I get to teach these guys. When I hire these guys, I have that perspective and I teach them. I know what they're thinking. I already know what you're thinking. Let me teach you what that brand new shooter is thinking. Let me teach you what the woman is thinking. And that's what I'm going to train you. And so that's what we have now is these men that are here that respect not just women, but that mindset of that complete terrified person. Now, my husband, he's absolutely wonderful. And we laugh about this now and we use it in our training. So I don't want it to sound like I'm saying anything bad about him, but he just didn't have that training. We didn't know. And there's the education. People always think the education is needed for the non-gun person, right? Well, hello, he didn't know how to teach me. He didn't know. He didn't understand why I was so afraid. And so anyway, he's mad.
And it's really, it's really sweet that he wants to share that, right? Really sweet. He wants to share his passion and he's just so excited and couldn't wait. And I think that that's really common for men to want to do that. And they just get so worked up. They're so glad that you agreed to finally go with them. And they just want to show you everything. And then, but they don't tell you, hey, this is going to scare you because it's loud.
It's the sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he couldn't understand why I was afraid. So the more that he kind of made it sound to me, not really on purpose, but he would make it sound like he was frustrated that I was afraid. Like, you know, it's like, it's fine. He would say, it's fine. Just pick it up, you know? And I was like, the more he would talk to me like that, because at home, I'm the queen. I am the queen, right? And the more he would talk to me like that, the more I would get mad. You know, I was like, I'm not stupid, and my fear is not invalid, but he couldn't understand it. You know, he didn't know what to do with it. And his way of dealing with it was kind of probably the way he was taught in the Marines, probably was just kind of like brush it away. Like, don't worry about it. Pick it up, jump in. What's the problem? You know? And I was just getting more and more mad at him. And it was like a volcano and a tornado. It didn't go well. It didn't go well. And so finally I put the gun down. I didn't want to have anything to do with it. I sat in the back. He shot. It didn't go well. I'll tell you right now, it didn't go well. And later I came and I shot again. And I really learned my training from other people. And now we shoot together. Fantastic. But he learned how to talk to me. And I learned that it's not going to get up and turn around and shoot me. It isn't going to do anything that I don't tell it to do. You know, it has to be me.
Well, that's a legitimate fear, though. You know, we're taught or we're conditioned to believe it's nitroglycerin. You know, you pick it up and any movement, it's just going to explode. And it's not because the gun is just going to fire itself. It's because we don't know how to handle it properly, and we might make it do the thing, right?
That's right.
You know, so when I first was picking up a gun, I was like, oh my God, you know, I'm not afraid of this thing. I'm afraid of me doing something stupid without realizing I'm about to do that. And, you know, if you ask me like, oh, do you keep your finger off the trigger? I'm like, yeah, of course, until I'm ready to fire. I know that. Everybody knows that. But I might pick up the gun and put my finger on the trigger because it's where it feels like it needs to go. It's like, that's a mistake that is very easy to make. And I knew that I was not experienced or trained enough to pick it up safely. And so I felt the same way. I'm like, I'm not going to just pick it up. What do you mean pick it up? How do I pick it up? Like, you pick it up and then I'll think about it.
Exactly. You know, and so, you know, it is funny because the perspective that I have now, it's so different. And I laugh, but I'm only laughing because we did everything wrong, you know. And now I see so many people come in And I watch women do it right. And I envy them in a way because on the opposite side of the spectrum, I was so stubborn about not wanting to get involved in this hobby of my husband's for so long that I didn't realize I was the one missing out. You know, he really wanted to show me the guns. He was so excited about it. He wanted to show me the guns. And I grew up afraid of them. It really was fear at the heart of it. But part of me it was a little bit of stubbornness. Like I said no, and I meant no, and the answer is no. And the reason that he wanted to show me is you want to change my mind. When I didn't realize at that time, the reason that he really wanted me to do it is because he knew the benefits of it. He knew that if he can't be there to protect me, this is an option that I could protect myself. That's another way that, in a way, he could protect me by showing me how to protect myself.
Right.
And he was trying to give that to me. And I, in my stubbornness, was like, no, you're not going to, I don't want guns. I told you I don't want guns, you know, not realizing. And then the benefit that I really didn't know, and this one is the real shocker, it's fun. It's so fun. To me, they were so serious. It was you hunted with it. It was survival or it was defense. You know, that's all it was for, you know? Right. And then it's fun. It's stress relieving. It's so fun. And there's a reward there that I had no idea. And he wanted me to have that.
Right.
You know?
So, yeah. And I think most women don't get to the fun part, which is what's unfortunate and why I think a lot of us we just never get there. So what was it that got you past that first terrible day? Why did you try it again?
So, well, that is such an excellent question. Why did I try it again? For me, there's something about when you tell me I can't do something, I got to prove you wrong, you know? And I can't really give that to other people. I don't know why I'm like that, right? But if you say I can't do something, I got to prove you wrong. I did not like the rifle at all. Like I do now. But at the time, I did not like the rifle. But there was something about the fact that I wanted to be able to shoot, you know? And I didn't like the fact that something had beat me, you know? Like I did not have the ability to overcome something. Does that make sense? I don't know if that's up to you, right? So later on, not right away, it took a little while because I didn't want to go again with him for a little while. Isn't that awful? And if you knew, me and my husband are best friends. This is a wild story, really, if you know us. And look, we use it in a powerful way now. We really do. But what happened was when we bought this company, I still didn't have that gun background. I had a business background. And when I came into the company, I said to him, I don't know what I'm going to do because I don't have the gun knowledge like you have. And he said, I don't want you to have the gun knowledge. I want you to give me the knowledge that you have. And that's where it was. Let's look at the eyes of the non-shooter. Let's look at the eyes of the female. So I took the guys that were here and I knew I had that thing had beat me, you know, and that bothered me. The fear had beat me, and that was really bugging me, you know? Yeah. And so the guys that worked here, at the time, I needed to teach them how women feel, not just women, but new shooters feel. So we had these classes and we had these meetings and we had these trainings about being intimidating and being the place that you can come to. These guys are taught, I want your grandmother to be able to come in here and be comfortable. Yeah. And so during all of this, the caveat, right, was they had to take me on the range and make me show me that you can do that. And during that process, I learned to shoot. I learned to shoot really well. And I learned the way that it's supposed to be done. It actually was easier for them, and I realized why. Let me tell you something, ladies. I'm going to speak to the ladies for a minute, right? When your man is trying to teach you, I realize now why he couldn't teach me. I realize why. And it was my fault. This is why. He couldn't understand why I couldn't understand, right? But I wasn't talking back to him the way the students would talk to a teacher. Do you know what I mean? So when these guys took me out to teach me, they were saying the same things that my husband was saying, but I didn't respond the same way. You know, I said, oh, okay, so this is this is that, and listen to them. With him, to your point, remember you said, I know I'm not going to put my finger in it. That's how we respond to our significant other, you know? I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid. Don't talk to me like I'm stupid. We don't respond to them the way you would your teacher, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the problem, is if you go with somebody who is knowledgeable, you do have to be a little humble enough to say, he does know more than me, if he does. Because, I mean, I'm just telling you, in all of these years of owning this range, I have seen very well-meaning family members take people out there and not teach them the fundamentals properly.
Yeah.
You know, so you do kind of, you know, if you're not sure if you're getting the right information, you might not be, you know, and here it is right there. That's my passion. That's what I do. This is what I wake up and live for, is to make sure that women have a place that they can go to and be the place that has the information that I didn't have and has the knowledge, teaching the men and other women to teach the brand new shooters. If you've never grown up with that mindset that a gun is scary, how do you know how that feels? You don't, unless somebody teaches you that, you know, and that's where we come in, you know?
Yeah, so, definitely. That's so special and rare.
I think it is rare. It's awesome.
I can tell you right now, it's rare.
The most rewarding thing is when women come in and I talk, my favorite phone call is, I've never shot, you know, a female on the phone, I've never shot. It's my favorite phone call. But really my goal, I really want to get them to be able to come in and shoot and not care if men are there, you know, like that maybe not today, right? But that's my goal. I want the guys to be in the bays next to that woman that talked to me and said, I've never shot before, going, who the heck is shooting like that? That's my goal, you know? And she don't care who's there because she's out shooting all of them, you know? That's my ultimate goal.
No, it's so empowering, right? To get on the other side of your fear and to be able to then walk in and just do it. And man, I never thought I was going to get there. Because I hear
very
scary experiences. Right.
I can't even believe that. If you told me that day I was going to own a gun range and do what I do and teach classes and teach you what, can you imagine? It's awesome. It's just, it's so rewarding and awesome. And I just love that this is another avenue and an opportunity. I love what you're doing. And I love how you're bringing more strong women together who know that and have seen the other side. And sisters, if you will, to say, hey, you know, I wouldn't listen to him. But listen to me. You know, here we are, sister, saying, I have been there, you know. And I just think that's so awesome. And if I can help with that in any way, please let me be part of that. That would be me.
Well, you can. Yeah, definitely. Well, it's, you know, when I first started, my first time at an indoor gun range, I went with my younger big brother, big guy, right? But, you know, I've known him his whole life. And, you know, he had a big imagination when he was a little kid. And so, of course, he would, you know, pretend to play with guns and all this stuff with his fingers, you know, the finger gun and all this stuff. And, but really, other than like watching a lot of movies with guns in them, you know, I was like, I don't think he knows how to handle a firearm. And so we went into this gun range, and the guy behind the counter, you know, of course, refers to the man for everything. Didn't hardly look at me. I'm just like, oh my gosh. But it's fine because I don't know anything. So I'll just let the guys handle this, I guess. And I hope that he can do this. And, you know, he's like, okay, so, you know, you got this. He's like, looking at my brother like, okay, here, you're going to rent a couple guns. Guess you got it? And he's like, yeah, I got it. It's like, you do? I can't believe you do. Okay, well, I guess we're going to go out there, and then we proceeded to go onto this gun range, and it was so loud and so freezing cold. I thought I was going to freeze. And so here I'm like nervous, I'm sweating, and, just the noise is so much louder than I thought it was going to be. And then we get out on the gun range, and, he's just, he's feeling him out. You could tell that he, didn't know his way around every type of firearm, but he was able to figure it out. And I was looking at him just like, who are you? How did you know that? Like, those two guns look completely different. This one has a safety. That one doesn't have a safety. I thought all guns had safeties. And what lever is that? And, just not understanding how they're all put together and just being shocked that he just knew what to do. That's awesome. Swear, that's a cultural thing. Like, men are conditioned in our culture to just pick this up over time, and women are also conditioned to learn certain things that men don't learn as well. And so it's just like how American culture is, where men are just a whole lot more likely to just kind of pick it up as they go and to not be as scared of super loud noises and things like that.
Hey, can I say something on that note? I love that you just brought that up, because I've thought about that so many times. Why is shooting predominantly men? Now, maybe because originally the hunters go all the way back, originally the men. Okay, let's start there. But today, today, why is it predominantly men? Because it still is. Women are definitely the fastest growing demographic. But why is it predominantly men? Because let me just tell you, as a woman, I've tested this thing. What is male about shooting? What is manly about it? There's nothing. The only thing that's manly about it is that more men have figured out how fun it is. I really believe that's what it is. Because once you do it and you realize there's really nothing manly about it, really, it can be just as female of a sport as any other sport. It's awesome. It's fun. There is a stress relief in it that nobody talks about, that you just can't get anywhere else. It's like if you put a puzzle together, something about going down range and sighting, putting your sight in the right spot and pulling the trigger just right and hitting it. There's a stress relief that just is amazing, know? And
I'm sure that there's a lot of theories behind why, but, first thing that comes to mind would be like, it's dirty, it's cold. A lot of the time, most ranges I've gone to, they won't heat their ranges. It's freezing cold. And then just, I guess the way that the way that most ranges are set up are to the standard that men have said is okay. And I got to blame men, because they're the most people that are going to these ranges, right? They've said, okay, this is the standard and we say it's okay. And so you don't have to do any better than that. Like, there's a range that's in the town over that's like, they were so proud that they had bathrooms.
Oh my gosh.
What? Of course you have a bathroom. What? Just little things that add up to an overall just not very pleasant experience for a lot of women. Now, I think your range is different, but most ranges aren't.
You just nailed it. This is my naivety, right? Because I'm so spoiled to have a range that's not just a female's touch, right? But my way, right? Yeah. So the men here are respectful of women. It's so the non-intimidating place if you come in here and you're a woman. And one of the things that I see, I got to tell you, drives me absolutely nuts, right? Is the women that come in here and have the wrong firearm for them because they went somewhere, again, well-meaning family members, or they went to a gun store. We have a lot of good gun stores in the area, but I don't know where some of these people go, that they go to a gun store and they're sold a gun that they really shouldn't have. It's not good for their hands. They can't pull the trigger. And you say to them, because we're a gun range, so we have the unique, we have that extra added ability. We're a gun shop also, but you could actually go try it. You could go rent one of our guns and try it before you buy it. And I understand you can't always do that, but I recommend you do that. Go do that, ladies. When would you go test? When would you buy a car without test driving it? You wouldn't do that. We even go try clothes on. right? We try clothes on before we buy them. Why would you buy a gun? And it happens all the time. I can't tell you how many times people come in here to trade, sell their gun to us because they have the wrong gun for themselves. And it's so easy. And so I am, in my naivety, right? Our guys are taught to make sure that those women that come in have the right gun for their hand, for their abilities to pull, triggers can be maneuvered. You can make the trigger easier to pull. I have a little arthritis. I don't want to admit it. I'm in a little denial. I'm getting older and I don't want to admit it, but I had to have my trigger lightened, so that I could pull it. But there are things that can be done. And if you don't, if you go with your family member who tells you, I know what gun you like, and it's their favorite gun, that might not be the gun for you. You know, so
as you're pointing out, it just all comes down to education, right? That's why women wind up with guns that aren't right for themselves. They didn't get the education beforehand. They have no idea. They're like, well, one gun is the same as another. This person, knows a lot more than me. I'm sure they can pick one out that I'll like.
I know. And you, to your point, you said, I had no idea he knew so much.
Yeah.
He knew so much. You're right. He probably did. So it is hard. It's really hard. The only way you're going to know is you try it first. You gotta go try it first. And to your point, and I do feel bad for ladies who are hearing this, who are all over the country. And if you don't have a range near you, that you have a place like that we have, that is, all the men are very respectful of the women, and not just women, but anybody who comes in without knowledge of guns. They're very respectful here. This isn't that place that is macho. You don't know what you're doing. This is not that place. This is that teaching facility, Yeah. But you gotta go where you grow. You gotta go. And that's our motto. You gotta go find where you feel comfortable, because it's a perishable skill. So even if at the beginning you get into it and you start shooting and you're like, okay, I'm gonna, defend myself, or I do this for, whatever reason you do it for. You do it for fun, you do it whatever, and you start shooting. If you stop, it's a perishable skill. Right. So now, or you got, some people have come in because they inherited a gun too. I've had ladies come in who inherited a gun from their dad, and they want that gun. And it isn't the right gun for them, but they want that gun because there's a sentimental value, and they want to learn how to use that gun. Go and find somewhere that you are comfortable and get a lesson from somebody who is listening to you. And if that person isn't the person, or that range, or that instructor, don't give up. Don't give up. There's a lot of us. Go somewhere else. Go where you grow. I really want to get that message out, because that always concerns me, because if you have a bad experience, there's a lot, and with what you're doing and what I'm trying to do, there's hopefully even going to be more. There's going to be more female instructors. There's going to be more places to go. I love the people that you put out there, the reputable people that you put out there, in telling women different areas of the country where they can go and find. Right. Even if you're on vacation, maybe you don't live near somewhere, but you're getting us all connected so that if you go on vacation, you can plan a trip around learning how to shoot.
Yeah, honestly,
and find it out.
Destination range days. It's a really fun way to spend your day.
Oh my gosh. Let me just say this too. Speaking about the women who have it figured out, and going back to what I said a little while ago about, I get a little envious when I see women that come in and they have it figured out, and I didn't. I kind of fought my husband a little bit about learning that skill. These women that come in that don't know how to shoot, and they call me on the phone and they say, my husband's really into guns. I've never shot. I don't know anything about it. I don't know what I'm doing, but I want to surprise him. I want to bring him on a date, or I want to get him a gift certificate. Help me. Like, I want to do something for him. And I think every time my heart breaks a little for my younger self, and I think, man, she's got it figured out. Yeah. Because I never did that. Because to me, I was like, I'm not doing that, and they've got it figured out. And the ones that go, I'm going to go with him. Can you imagine you coming home, your best friend, that is his thing. And you come home and you say, surprise, I'm taking you to go do your favorite thing. Yeah. He's going to go crazy.
Yeah,
you know,
no kidding.
and
Definitely.
yeah. So that's another message I wanted to put out there.
Yeah.
So that I could just give that message to women. Try it. If you have never tried it, try it.
Yeah. So a year or two ago, on a very optimistic, I was feeling very empowered that day. I decided to sign up my husband and I for a 3-part semi-automatic rifle series. And so each day was, like the whole day, and you're going to be spending a lot of money on ammunition. We were shooting the whole time, and I didn't know anything about rifles, really.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, okay, I know I need to learn how to do this, so this is how I'm going to get there. And oh my God, I'm scared out of my mind, but I need to go do this, and he needs to come with me. But you know what? Even though I was so intimidated, and I've been handling firearms, Wagoa was already started, and it wasn't totally foreign to me. And I knew this instructor, I knew he would take care of us. But at the same time, I was like, oh my God, I am going to be the only woman, first of all. And it was. And then everyone else is going to be, even though it says, I said beginner rifle series, I think. But I was like, yeah, right. It's not going to be a beginner. This is going to be intense, and I'm going to look like an idiot, but okay, we're just going to do this. And we went and did this, and it was one of the best, trust building, bonding experiences I've ever had with my husband. Like, by the time we walked out of our first day, definitely the second day and third day, I was like, oh my God, we could go to war. I would go to war with you. This is great. I can't believe that we just did that. I feel so good about myself and strong as a couple that I couldn't recommend what you're talking about more.
That's awesome. I love it. Yeah. Now we're at Foxhole, baby. I got your back. I love that so much. But it's true. We go out to eat all the time, right? We go out on a weekend away all the time. But you take on 3-day rifle. You're never gonna forget that. That's amazing. But for you. You got one on me because I've never done that. Now I'm like, oh, maybe I should go do that.
Well, it wasn't 3 days all in a row. It was a class, and then there was a month break, and then we did another one, and then a month break.
It's so cool. Good for you. My husband loves to give me gifts. That now that I'm into this, right? Now he's making up for lost time. Okay. And this is what he does, right? Every chance he gets, he'll give me, for Christmas, I don't have it on me today, but I got a Glock that's it has all roses etched in it and everything.
Oh, cool.
He loves to do that. He loves to give me guns. So this one day he says, you got to come try this rifle. And I can't say it anymore, but I was not a fan of rifles. Yeah. I like pistols. I was not a fan of rifles. So he says, you got to come try this rifle. We got this new rifle. So I go out to the range, and, he knows I don't really love rifles. So I'm kind of, but I said I would never do that again. I'm taking my own advice. He asked me. So I said, okay, honey. And I went out with him, and I loved this rifle. I loved it. It was amazing. And so I'm shooting this rifle. I feel like I'm badass. I'm like, I am woman in the war, right? I love this rifle. I can't believe I felt so powerful. And I put it down, and he goes, what do you think? And I said, I can't believe I love this rifle. He goes, good, I got us a matching set. That's how he gives me a gift.
That's so cute.
And can you imagine if I hated it, Right. I was so glad I liked it, I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Dang, going out on the limb there.
I know. That's how he gives me a gift all the time. He doesn't wrap it up or anything. He goes, and then he goes, that's yours, And that's how he gave me my other gun too. I'm sitting in his office having a conversation with him, and he turned the box around and he opened it, and it was like this pink, and I was like, and all my staff was like, we heard you scream. We didn't know what to do.
Right.
Anyway, that's how my husband gives me a gift. Anyway, that's it's really awesome.
Cute. Well, speaking of the colors, you've mentioned a few guns. This got the etching on them, and then you've got the pink, maybe Cerakote or something like that. Is that something that you guys offer at your range, or how do you recommend?
Oh, I love that you asked me that. So, I was buying them for a while. We had I kind of love that. Some people don't like that. Mm-hmm. Some people feel like a colored gun looks not as intimidating, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know that if I pulled out my hot pink Glock, I don't think that a criminal is going to be like, I'm not scared of you. I really don't. I don't think it's going to be less intimidating. But anyway, so for a while we were, buying them, like, we were having it commissioned like that. And then one day my husband, I don't know, he was in the shower or something. He came out and he dreamed up in his mind. He said, tattoos for guns. Tattoos for guns. How cool would that be? We could tattoo guns, not literally tattoo guns, but we could take guns and do anything that you want on them. We could laser engrave them, Cerakote them. We actually even put, my gun actually has sapphires embedded into them. The sights are sapphires. So, there's all kinds of things that you can do. If you go on our website, gunsnh.com, you can see all different, people have done Jack and Sally matching guns for couples and things like that. But, so he dreamed this up, and next thing you know, it took about a year or so, but now we have a full custom engraving. We do it ourselves now. Custom engraving, Cerakote shop. It's amazing. You could do anything.
That's so cool.
Not just on guns. We do it on axes and, knives. And so you could get a gun. Now, not only can you get your husband or your friend or your significant other or yourself, you can take them to the range or get them whatever, but now you can actually have something made. You can have a gun. We actually just went to a wedding and we gave them matching blocks, for a wedding gift. Yeah. So, we own a gun range, so it had to be cool. Right. So, but yeah, it's really awesome. So when I walk around, I'll show you our
So, people want to, I don't know why the colored guns get quite such a bad rap, other than if you're buying a gun just because it's turquoise blue versus that's really the right gun that is for me and it happens to come in that color, or I did it myself or whatever, because it's like, okay, let's say you picked out your own car and it's the right car for you.
Exactly.
Are you going to pick the color? Yeah.
The performance is the same.
It's the same.
My Ford 3X, my Block 19, they're the Kimbers. I mean, not that I don't have like I'm not just, not affiliated with any gun companies. So I just want to make sure people know that. But the Kimber 1911 comes in amethyst, sapphire blue, and I think emerald green. It's the same beautiful Kimber, it just has those colors and the performance is the same. So it's amazing. So, I mean, you know what? Why can't the gun reflect your personality?
The thing is, like, you're the one looking at it every day.
That's right.
So get something that you like. Yeah.
Exactly. I totally agree. I know this is a question, I think, because I'm a female and I own a gun range. When people interview me, they literally, when men interview me for anything, like on the radio and everything, they always ask me that question. And I'm always like, why is that important to you? Who cares? You know what I mean?
What question?
I literally have guns in every color.
Oh.
They always ask that. They're like, what, do you think that guns should be different colors? Yes, I do.
Yep. Why not? Yeah.
I don't know. And I'm like, why do you care? Why are you asking me that?
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. God, I had some more questions about your range, but we might just save those for when we do a full walkthrough, do a separate video about that. So
I'm not sure.
Is there anything that's kind of, I don't know, surprised you in the formation of your business, in how people shop, how they come to you, how you're treated as a female business owner in a gun range? Is there anything that has stood out to you that's really surprised you, or multiple things probably?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm sure that this happens in a lot of industries, that there is a female at the helm and it's a male predominant industry, right? Mm-hmm. And it still surprises me today. My husband and I own the company, and we are 50-50. I mean, every decision is made down the middle. When we first came in, I definitely had the administrative and he had the firearms. And I would say it's still generally like that. He orders and he deals with the firearms and the ordering and the manufacturing of that kind of thing. And I deal with the marketing and things like that, generally, mostly. But now we're much more intertwined. But every decision that we make, we come together to make those decisions. It's very much a partnership in every way. And I can't tell you how many times, so frustrating to me, that I don't get, not from my staff, I'll tell you that right now, but from their, still, it blows my mind where I don't get the respect of being the female owner, you know? And it just blows my mind. And it doesn't happen every day. And when it happens, it still surprises me. It's like after 8 years of doing this every day, my life is this, and I do this. And so many interviews and so many people and so many lives changed. And then somebody will say to me, let me just tell you, last week I walked into, I'm having another instructor. I'm taking another instructor course, and I went to pay for it. Last week, I've owned this gun range for 8 years. I've taken 1 million courses. I've taken everything. I've trained men. I've trained war heroes. That's the truth. I've trained war heroes to teach people. And I walked into this gun shop to pay for my instructor course. And he said to me, are you taking the basic pistol?
Yeah.
Why did he ask me that? Why did he assume that I was taking basic pistol? You know, that's the kind of thing that happens to me. And you just step back and you think, that still happens today in 2024. That still happens today. I hired a gentleman. I always let my guys know. I let them know I have very protective staff members, which is awesome. And so I let them know that this happens every once in a while because I don't want them to, you know, be inappropriate in front of the customers, right? Yeah, because it does happen every once in a while. So I just let them know. I warn them. I say, sometimes you're going to see I won't get the respect. So you just be you and I'll just be me, and they'll figure out who the boss is. You know, you just keep, don't worry about it. You know, it'll work itself out. And so I literally had an orientation with a brand new team member that started that day. This was about a month ago. And I taught, and I was talking to him, and I was telling him how I went to SHOT Show, and I was trying to check in the SHOT Show. And I hope this isn't bad on SHOT Show. I hope this isn't bad for me to say, but I'm trying to check in, and me and my husband get our name badges, and my name badge says spouse. And my husband says, absolutely not. She can't wear that because she is a partner. She's owner. It has to say owner, because if we go in there, they're not going to talk. These are all vendors. They're not going to talk to her. If she's spouse, she needs to be, it needs to say the same as my badge. Like, and
that goes back to their registration process, right? Because you pay for one and then you say, oh, okay, but my spouse is coming too. Yes. That's not on them, though, to label it like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, it said owner, but because I'm a woman, I don't know. They put spouse. This male would not change my name badge at check-in. He would not change it. And my husband, credit to my husband, would not go into SHOT. He said, absolutely not. I'm not, we pay, we are, you know, we're both founding members. We are both ownership. We're not, we paid as owners. She needs the badge to match mine, and he wouldn't do anything. So this lady was sitting, the secretary lady was sitting behind, and she's watching this go down. I hope I don't get her in trouble. She's watching this go down, and she's not, you know, he's above her, because they went and got him because of this. And he was like a manager. And so she's watching this go down. And I looked at her and I said, this kind of crap happens to me all the time being a female in this male industry. And she went, hell no. And I don't know what she did, but she went to the back and she came back and she goes, here you go. And she
just did it.
I don't know what she did. She had to go get him at first, but then all of a sudden she got it done. It was awesome. So anyway, my point is, I'm telling
she got to the point, she's like, I've had enough of hearing this conversation.
Like,
I'm just going to fix this right now. It's the right thing to do.
Yeah, she watched it go down. She watched me being, you know, as a female, not being respected. And she watched it go down, and she was like, hell no. It was awesome. So anyway, I'm telling my new staff member this happens, and I'm just letting him know, just warning, sometimes this happens. And you don't see it every day because I have all these men that work for me. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I mean, I'm divvying orders all day long, and they're doing it, you know. And then all of a sudden, you know, it'll happen and you don't expect it. So we walk out of the classroom, I kid you not, from orientation. I told him that story. We walk out of the classroom, we walk up front, and a customer walks in the door, and me and my brand new staff member who's been working for me for like 2 hours right now. And this customer walks up and literally looks at him and says, I went, can I help you? And he looked at him and he said, I'm looking for blah, 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 blah. And my team member looked at me because I think when I told him this happens, he didn't believe me. And he looked at me and he went, oh my gosh. Because first of all, he couldn't even answer the question. He had been working here 2 hours. He didn't know where anything was, you know? And so he looked at me like, wow, I can't believe it really does happen. And it does. But I do want to say it is rare. Most of the time, I'm well respected. I think in our area, luckily, a lot of people already know that there's a female owner. And I don't know, the guys that come work for me. And that's the beautiful thing about if women do come here, you have to understand that I'm hiring these men and I'm not going to hire a man who does not respect women. Do you know what I mean? So these men that all work here are so respectful of women and the needs of women. And I know that, and I'm not going to hire them if they're not, you know? So I can't speak for other places, but I guess I'm kind of spoiled that way in knowing that we do have that place. Luckily, there is at least one place, but I know there's more.
There are more, but it's still a very special thing to be offering, and it's not terribly common, but there are more. But on that note,
I think that's what surprises me.
Yeah.
You asked me what surprised me.
Yeah.
On a good note, what surprised me is on the same note, but on a good note, same note. There are so many men that get excited that a woman is getting involved, and they support. You know, they champion you. You know, so for the one man that is the opposite, there's 50 men that go, what?
Right.
She wants to do it?
Yeah.
You know, and you have all these cheerleaders, you know. So.
Yeah, and it's important not to get confused with that too. You know, it's not like we're here to just hate on men, but like, you know,
that's
the
right.
industry is still kind of messed up in terms of equality when it comes to women who want to get involved. And then you do get these guys who are in the good old boys club and they'd rather keep it that way. And their actions and their words propagate that. So unfortunately, that's something that we have to handle. But I mean, overall, what do you think it would take to change the culture and to get more women involved in armed self-defense?
Yes, what you just said, more women getting past the fear and intimidation. So what is that going to take? That's really the question. I'm doing my part, right? But how do we get more education out there, which I'm trying to do? I'm educating these guys, but how do we get more places to understand what a woman needs? More women. We need more women. That's what we need. So we're starting at the end of this month. I'm starting actually this month. When I talked to you last, this wasn't starting, and now it's starting.
Oh, awesome.
We're starting a gun club, a women's gun club. And it's starting at the end of this month, April 28th. I'm doing a free seminar every single month for women so that women can come in, and it's not a shooting seminar. It's just for free. So women, my hope is that woman who is so intimidated and so afraid to just walk through that door, it's a woman to woman talk. It's a girl to girl. Yeah. You don't have to touch a gun. I've been there. I've literally been you. And I'm just going to tell you what I've seen. And if you decide this is not the road for you, fine. But if you decide this is the path you want to take, I can help you on that path.
Yeah,
and
they're already
on the right one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's such a good idea to not have any live fire. Just know they can come in. They don't have to be scared of any of it. There's not going to be any bullets.
Yes. The fear is the unknown, right? That's what the fear is. And I'm gonna allow them to not have that fear. And at the end of it, it's all ladies' nights. We have ladies' nights on Sundays and Wednesdays. So I'm gonna do this on coupling that. And my assistant is gonna give them a tour after. So they'll get to tour the range. Anything that they think, literally once a week we hear these words, this isn't what I thought at all. Yeah. I don't know what people think. I think they think that we are a saloon and we're wielding revolvers. I really do. I don't know what they
A lot
think.
of gunshots feel that way. Yeah, you walk in and that's exactly what it feels like.
Well, we're not.
Yeah.
And so I literally hear that once a week. People go, this isn't what I thought. So that's what I want. I want to show them. Come on in, come check it out. And you know what? I fully recognize that guns aren't for everybody. You know what? I don't want everybody to have guns. I've seen people that I don't want to have guns. They're not for everybody. And maybe they're not for you. But why don't you just come in and check it out and see what it's about?
Yeah. Well, and what I would like to see is that it becomes normal to see an armed woman.
Yes. I love that.
It's not normal, right? Especially open carry. Oh, man. Yeah. But,
yeah, you definitely stop and go, oh my gosh, she's carrying. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, let's make that happen in our lifetime. I love that.
That's the goal. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
What brought you to Wagoa in the first place?
So honestly, I've just been trying to figure out how can I reach out to more women. I think that this is going to sound kind of funny, but me reaching out to women and trying to get women to come in always sounds like a sales pitch. Owning the company, knowing what I have to offer, knowing that what I have is something that a lot of women could benefit from, but coming from me, it sounds like I'm just trying to sell you something. And so I'm just looking for places that I don't even care if you don't come to me. My motto is go where you grow. If this isn't it, go find that place. And to be honest with you, I think that it's important to go to different places. I think that it's important to get your education not from one person. You should have different instructors. You know, if you just get all your education from one person, then your education is limited to what their education is. Right. So I like the idea of take a class here, take a class there, get that diversity. Right. This is you. This is your life. You know, so this is your defense, whatever it is you're trying to get from it, you know, don't limit yourself to this small, you know, I do love that we have members. Don't get me wrong. I love, loyalty. I love that, you know, that's wonderful. Take all my classes, but then continue your education, you know, there's so much online, you know, I just think that, and so I found Wagoa. I don't remember how I found it. I think I found you on Facebook, I think. Trying to find more like-minded women that I could more like-minded programs, you know, more on people who are just trying to give the information to more women. Right. And when I found you and I found what you were doing and I saw the women instructors and I heard what they had to say, and I paid the membership fee because before I'm going to stamp my name on anything, let's see what we're looking at here. Yeah. And I watched Lisa Ludwig and I listened to, and it was awesome. And what you're letting people know and the community that you're trying to bring together, the safety net to grow in women that you can trust. You know, if this is where you are, here is where you can go and you can grow. And just, I loved it. I thought it was awesome. And so that's where I'm at. And that's where I saw that you were. And I think it's amazing that you're across the country with the same mission. Yeah. It's just awesome.
Yeah, and I've noticed a lot of women with similar missions who have popped up over the last couple of years. And, you know, of course, you've been in business for a lot longer than that. But, you know, a lot of business came out of COVID just mad, like piping mad. I was.
True.
Yeah. And so I was like, no, I'm gonna try to do something about the injustice that we have all just suffered and see if we can make a difference in the world. And this is just kind of the avenue that I picked. But changing that culture and bringing more women together to support each other. And then knowing that, like you said, you can't just get all of your information from one person because you're only going to get, you know, whatever they're limited towards.
That's right.
And for me, I had to, you know, learn the hard way that, okay, each person is going to say something to you, you know, depending on who they are, like with definity, like this is not a good holster. This is not a good way to carry. This is how you should need to shoot. This is how you have to do this and that. When ultimately it's not a totality type of training that you're going into. You're going to have different circumstances. You're different than that person is. And it's really good to get a variety of instructors like giving you their point of view and then going deeper than your basic pistol, going more into the defensive types of scenarios and how you get prepared to actually if you have to horribly use your gun in self-defense. What does that mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I think a lot of women, I see a lot of women come in and it's cool. It's a tattoo. I'm cool. I got this cool gun. But there's a responsibility that goes with it that you don't realize. You pull out that gun and you're no longer Tommy's mom at the soccer game.
Yeah.
You are the woman that had the firearm. And if the police show up, just because if that perpetrator is hurt or worse, you're the one with the gun.
Yeah.
You're the one standing there. And they have to figure out in this moment, they don't know if you're the one who's the perpetrator. And there's a lot of responsibility that goes in there. And to make that decision, you need to make that decision before you buy the gun.
Yeah.
Do I want to go down that road? Do I want to? And if I do, what does it look like? Maybe I want a gun, but I'm not ready for that. Maybe I'm going to store it in a locker. We have lockers here. Maybe I just want to store it in a locker for a while till I'm ready to have. I want to train and I want to, it's definitely fiscally better for you if you're going to train and have classes to have a gun. It drives me crazy. If you think I'm in this for the money, here you go. Not only giving free classes, but this is good. Buy a gun instead of renting. Like I own a gun range that has rentals, right? But I see all these people come in and take all these classes and they keep renting guns, and definitely rent until you know what you want. But if you're learning to self-defend, but you don't even have a gun, you're learning to do something that you can't even do. So it never makes sense to me.
That's
basic pistols.
Yeah.
Right. Basic pistols, one thing, but when I see them taking the really advanced classes in self-defense classes, really advanced, and they're renting, I don't understand that. You know what I mean?
Does that happen a lot?
Does
that happen a lot?
Yes.
Really?
It happens a lot. And not only that, but your gun is your gun.
Yeah.
A rental is a rental. It's not going to be the same. They're clean. Your gun is your gun. It has a certain amount of bullets that go through it. You're cleaning it. You know what I mean? It's going to act slightly different. They're machines,
Yeah.
So it does. It actually happens a lot. It blows my mind. So, if you're doing it for fun, rent. But if you think you're going to take that journey and you're going to get self-defense lessons, try guns out till you find your gun and then buy one. And if you're not ready to carry it on your person and be ready for that responsibility, you don't know the laws and you don't know the rules and you're not ready, put it in a locker. And I think before we say anything else, I think it's important to say that maybe a gun isn't for you. Maybe it's pepper spray. Guns are not the only avenue.
Right.
But find out, and if you're going to go this path, go with WGOA, join WGOA, listen to the women, listen to the women who've been there and go the right way on the path.
All right. Awesome. We've gone over so much stuff, but is there a message that you would like to deliver to women across the nation, whether they are armed or unarmed?
I guess the message for unarmed women is find out. Even if it's not something that you want to carry in your person forever, it's fun. Go try it, especially if somebody in your life is asking you to, don't deny them that, it's fun for them to bring you and it's fun for them. And I think that the fact that, like I said, my husband just wanted me to know for my own safety, so don't deny them of that. That's what I would tell unarmed women. For armed women, I would say, get the education, go where you grow. Just keep getting education. And there's so much out there. There's organizations like this, and go where you feel comfortable and find like-minded women, join clubs. I'm so excited to be able to now provide a club. There are a couple, but, I wasn't able to find exactly what I wanted. And I kept trying to find what I wanted. And then I said, wait, I'll just make one.
Yeah.
So now we're going to have a club that I wanted where women can come and kind of do, a little bit of socializing, a little bit of shooting, and then a lot of learning, and a lot of growing together. So it's the Iron Rose Women's Shooting Club. So that's what is getting started at the end of this month, April 28th. And I am so excited about it. And I'm so excited to be, part of your message. And I wish you all the luck in the world. If there's anything else that I can do and be part of this, please let me know.
I love that. Awesome. Thank you so much, Terry.
You're welcome.